Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Jade, and today we're going to delve into the Toronto hip hop scene with the incredibly talented up and coming artist, Malone the Chemist. Get ready to learn more, and hopefully by the end, you'll be feeling the chemistry. All right, so welcome, Marlon and Sighmon. I'll give you a second here just to briefly introduce yourselves. Who are you?
Yeah, so I my name's Marlon, go by Malone the Chemist. I'm a hip hop alternative artist. Um not like I make music for pretty much the vibers, you know what I'm saying? Music for people to I guess like skate to, and music that I guess like relates to what I'm going through in my life, and hopefully I don't know, people can relate to it. I have a similar style, so like Jid. Everyone says, yo, you sound like Jid, you sound like Jid. If I had $1 for every single time someone called me Jid, I'd be rich. um yeah, like personal stuff. I like anime. I like watching shows, you know. Uh and yeah, I'll hand it to Simon.
Yeah. My name is Sighmon. I'm Marlon's best friend, quote unquote manager, consultant. I'm basically just a toolbox for this guy. Whatever he needs from me, I'm there to provide. Background vocals, beats, whatever he needs. I'm just the
Man
dude.
of many talents.
Simon's the guy. He's the dude.
All right, cool. So I want to start off. I just wanted to ask, how did you get your start in music? Where did it all
Um,
begin?
so it started in high school. I had a friend, his name, he goes by Gabe, and what he used to do, he actually used to come up with these like kind of like parody rap songs or whatever. And then one day he actually dissed me on a song, and it was very I guess like popular in the school or whatever. And like I went to school, and then I was like, yo, we got freaking roasted, like all that shit. And I was just like, man, ain't no way I'm gonna let this guy do this to me. So I came up with a diss track on my own, and then it was actually horrible. It was so trash. I was like whispering to the laptop mic, trying to not let my parents like hear me hear me talk random shit. Um, but yeah, then we just pretty much started from diss track, dropping diss tracks to homies, and then we formed like a group. It's called Third Gen, and we started releasing music. I think like 2019, but we started making music like 2016, right after high school. And then the group kind of fell through and started doing my own thing, 2019. And yeah, I've been taking it seriously since then. Now we're here.
You
Cool.
know what
And
my
then
favorite
Simon,
part of that diss track was that you didn't even diss Gabe, you dissed me
Oh yeah,
instead.
I did Simon too. Yeah, it was kind of tough.
That was
It was
oh,
like
crazy.
it was like a side shot, like a stray.
because
Anyways,
I was gonna ask where like Simon fell into all of that, because I know you've known each other for a while, so I figured maybe from the very beginning then.
Yeah,
yeah,
no. So I had no idea that Marlon rapped really until he started releasing music in like 2017. But yeah, it was that first diss track where he dropped a line and it was about me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And so I've been sitting on a diss track to this day, and I'm waiting for Marlon to
What
blow up
was
so I can drop it.
what was the line?
we'll
Do you
talk
want to
about the
share?
line. We don't talk about
Okay.
the line.
It's a sensitive subject. Okay, okay. And so you go by Malone the Chemist. So where does that name originate from?
So the Malone part I actually got from also Gabe. Gabe is a pretty fundamental person that got me into the whole I guess rap scheme, and like making music or whatever. So pretty much we have a song, it's called Calling My Phone by uh Third Gen, the group that I was in. And then in Gabe's like he has a verse, and honestly probably one of my favorite verses by him. Anyways, he does this like pretty, I want to say like an interpolation of Post Malone's Congratulations, where Quavo was like, oh, Malone, you calling my phone, like something like that. And then he pretty much says the same thing, Malone, you calling my phone. And then after that song dropped, like all my homies were just calling me Malone. And I was just like, okay, this is cool. I don't mind being called Malone. Malone's kind of cool. So then that's like the Malone part. The chemist part was just because I studied chemistry in college and I worked in the chemical field. And also, one of my favorite producers is The Alchemist, and he goes by Alan the Chemist. Or Al the Chemist, or Alan the Chemist, yeah. But yeah, he has Alchemist. So yeah, that's the name.
And who would you say are your top 3 musical influences?
Oh, um, definitely Outcast, 100%. Um, yeah, Outcast is like, I would say like maybe like number one, maybe. I'm not too sure actually, but yeah, 100,000 and Big Boy have definitely paved a way for how I want my music to be perceived and how I would like to pursue my music, because they really had no limits to whatever it is that they were doing. They were pushing uh genres and pushing boundaries of what they were doing. So yeah, Outkast, love them. Next would probably be Isaiah Rashad. I'm actually wearing his hoodie. Um, love that man. That man, probably he's definitely saved my life like a couple of times. Um, yeah, he's just so vulnerable and personal with his music that um, I feel like most people can relate to uh his the struggles that he went through, or um yeah, struggles that you go through or whatever. And yeah, he's kind of helped me to be okay with like showing vulnerability within like my craft. And just like, that's where I get like the chill aspect of things. um what would I put three is kind of like, a third one's always hard because like so many people that I want to put in. Like I would put like Lupe Fiasco, because that was like my first like rapper that like I really dove into, and like he was like a lyricist. He was like the lyricist of like all the rappers. Honestly, like, he walked so Kendrick could run. That's like my opinion. Um, he's always whenever I'm writing, I always think, how can I make it uh like an analogy, or like some sort of what's the term, like hidden messages, or something like that. Anyways, yeah, shout out Lupe. I'm yapping. I'd also put Brockhampton in there because that's my favorite boy band. I've always, ever since Brockhampton, I've always wanted to do have like a posse, or like a some sort of group collective where we could just outlet uh music that we do. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Well, speaking of Brockhampton, you do shout out Brockhampton in your
I
new
do.
single Stars.
I do.
So tell me a little bit about Stars and how it came to be. It's also there's a collaboration with a couple of other artists on there as well. So I'm interested to know what it was like working with them, and tell me a little bit about those artists, how you know them, how like the whole song came to be.
Yeah, so Stars. Okay, so I'll talk about the other artists. So Joe Dozer and Iyasu. So I met these guys off of TikTok actually. Um I was just scrolling through TikTok and I saw um another one. His name is Noted. He was rapping on one of Joe's beats essentially. And I was like, yo, like this is kind of cool, because it's like pretty much like adjacent to the music that I was doing. And they kept on popping up on my feed, and I was just like, okay, these guys are pretty fucking dope. Like, and then I found out that they were actually in Saga, so I was like, okay, cool. So I reached out to them, and then yeah, we just he Joe invited me over to his basement where he records and stuff, and then I don't know, like a connection kind of just flourished. I met Iyasu, who's also on that song, through them, and then another one named Stiff, who's also, he plays the guitar on Stars, um, through all of them, and then I don't know, we just kind of became like, we realized that what we had was like pretty special. And I guess now we turned it in over to a collective, and we're called Bad Camp. And yeah, so pretty much Stars was like we were at Stiff's house, and Dro got some samples from this guy named Max who lives in LA. He makes samples and then he sends it out to producers. So then Dro got the sample from Max and then he chopped it up. And then I heard it and I was just like, yo, like this shit's kind of hard. And messing around with it, I just kind of like mumbled out like the hook for Stars. I was just like mumbling up the flow, whatever. And then Yasu and Noted were like, yo, like, that sounds kind of fucking hard. Like let's just write to it. And then that's how we got the hook. And then we all wrote a verse to it. Noted actually had a verse on it, but we cut it short just to keep the song tight. But hopefully we release it later, maybe like a remix or something. But yeah, the song came together pretty organically. It was like pretty much done in like one day, honestly. Um,
And is there
oh,
any
but like,
like
oh,
go ahead.
yeah. The I guess like the meaning of the song or like the purpose of whatever. Um, I guess like I think living in a moment was like the big thing because there's a lot of things going on within my life at the time. Like I wanted to um I've been working on this project for a while now, and it has tested me in multiple ways. In multiple ways, especially I would say on the patience sides of things, um where it's just like I'm so used to um creating something and then uh keeping that feeling alive, I would just release it right away. But like with this project, wasn't able to do that. So it was very different experience that I had to go through, and I'm going through. But other than that, I talk about like how people just have their own vices that they got to cope with, and um how situations may change or hopefully change or whatever. But regardless, it's all about just staying in the moment and hoping things pass. Yeah.
Sighmon, what was your first opinion when you first heard Stars?
I Okay, I really mess with it honestly. It's really sort of on brand with what he had or what the artistic vision that he had pitched to me originally. And again, it just came out super hard. As soon as the sample dropped, I was like, okay, yeah, this is the one. You know, this is something that you could really sort of bank off or sort of put out there and really make your name on. Um, it was so funny because as soon as he gave it to me, I was just like playing it on my train ride to work. You know, it was something that I continuously just repeated over and over again. And as soon as he dropped it, it was literally the only song that I listened to for like 3 weeks straight because it was
Of
just like,
course.
yeah, this is like I'm driving or like I'm in the back seat of my friend's car and I have my head out the window, like that one scene in The Dark Knight with the Joker in the cop car, that's how the song makes me feel. Like I'm just like standing out the window of a car and I'm just vibing, and yeah, I really, really, really mess with the track.
It is very catchy. I've listened to it quite a few times myself as well, and I find myself just like humming it around the house sometimes. It just kind of it's very good at getting stuck in your head, especially the chorus.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to ask too, because obviously you've known Marlon for a really long time, so you've been able to see his evolution as an artist from the very beginning up to this point here. How would you say Stars kind of represents his evolution as an artist and where he might be going in the future?
I mean, compared to all of the stuff that we've worked on previously, like it's so much more polished than what I like remember, Um, part of that journey was some time that we spent in my basement, just like producing well, like some of this project that we've been working on. And even going from then, like that was almost 3 years ago now. And it's just seeing how much more polish, how much more finesse, and how much more confidence that Marlon has in his own voice. It's truly stunning to see, you know. I remember when I first started, like when I never really realized that Marlon was like into music or like making music like that. Like even after that diss track dropped, I was like, I didn't realize that it was this serious for him until he started releasing music on his own, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see the vision. And again, like thinking back to those days where it was like the beats that he had cooked on FL by himself to like now working with Dro and the gang, it's like it's crazy to see.
Well, amazing. So you did also just have a really exciting performance at the beginning of March. You opened up at a showcase. What was that experience like? Was that was your first time performing Stars live? I'm assuming. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
how was that whole experience? It being like the first time performing it? What was the crowd energy like? Tell me a little bit about it.
yeah. It was so much fun. So a little too much fun, honestly. Um, yeah, it's like my first time, I guess, performing. First time performing my songs like on stage, like any song, on stage, and not at like an open mic. Yeah, the crowd loved it. All the homies were there. They were all singing the chorus. Yeah, it was very fun. I'm really enjoying doing live performances. I feel like I've gotten comfortable performing live. Um, but yeah, it was a blast. I'm hoping to do more throughout the rest of the year.
Do you have any like what would your like do you have any upcoming performances, or even do you have any music that you're looking forward to, or an album possibly that's following up Stars?
Yes.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, possibly. So Stars is part of the project that we've been working on, and part of the project that I will release this year. Um, I plan on releasing another single before though. Arguably probably my favorite song I've ever really made. Uh, Made it with Sighmon. Um, and I think this one might be the one potentially. It might be the one. I'm excited for people to hear it. Um, it's great. It's great. That's all I can say.
Amazing. Excited for it. Before we finish off, I did just want to backpedal just a little bit because I think it's important to talk about it. Obviously, when we look at your socials, when we look at your personal branding, we see a lot of the color purple. And so I think the fans would be interested to know, and just the general public would be interested to know where that specific color of purple comes from, and why it's such a big part of your brand.
So purple. That's a good question. Pretty much. Before it was purple, it's actually blue, and the way I like to view it as the colors represent the what I am going through in my life currently. So when it was blue, I was pretty freaking sad, to be honest. Going through shit. Uh, what's it called? Like growing up into like an adult or whatever. Um, Coming of age. That's the word. So yeah, lots of confusing stuff going on. Changed it to purple because started to get more comfortable in my skin. And to me, purple signifies a growing stage, a growing period. So that's pretty much why it's purple and where I'm at right now. It's been purple for a long while. I think it's been purple for like 2019 maybe, or 2018, maybe 20, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so purple pretty much like signifies like a growth stage for me, and I don't know how long I'll be in. It might be a permanent thing, to be honest, maybe. But yeah, yeah, that's the gist of it. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I do just want to thank you so much for coming in and speaking with me today. I know I'm very excited. I'm sure the fans are really excited to know more about Malone the Chemist and to see what there is to come. Even still, it's just the beginning. We're just getting started. So I'm really excited to see the evolution of everything and to see your success to come for sure. Stars dropped February 22nd. It's already doing really well. Looking forward to the next single as well. Before we wrap up, is there any last words? Anything, Sighmon, you, Marlon, that you'd like to share?
You have anything to say, Simon?
Nah, man. Let the music speak for itself.
There you go.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, go stream Stars if you haven't streamed it today. In fact, add it to your playlist right now. Yeah. If you don't, now you know